You're tuned into news across the galaxy where they talk all things LA Galaxy with the Nag Boys. Let's start nagging.
Welcome to News Across the Galaxy, where we talk all things LA Galaxy. I'm your host, Brian Lobos, and usually with me is my co-host, Edgar Zuniga. How you doing tonight, sir?
I'm all right, man. I'm hanging out here at NAG Studio East, trying to relax after a very, very interesting weekend. Cheers to everyone who enjoyed this crazy weekend. But let me raise my cup extra high because we have an extra high for the crown for our good buddy who's coming back. Eddie, welcome back, buddy.
Yeah, don't adjust your screen. That really is Eddie. How you doing,
That's
sir?
be confused with Edgar.
Guess who's back? Back again.
Eddie's back.
But not the G's. The G's aren't back. They're not back. They're not back. They're not
No.
back. Oh man. Yeah, so feels good. Back for at least tonight, back from my Donovan sabbatical, got the whole Donovan treatment. I got the early 2000 Donovan hair going on and everything. And just like the Donovan that rocked this hair, I'm ready to shatter some Galaxy fan dreams.
But before we get into that, there's some rumors going around. There's a rumor that the LA Galaxy is interested in Dortmund legend, Marco Reus. Unfortunately, Charlotte FC has the discovery rights to him. Fellas, how much do we hate these discovery rights, and what are they?
Yeah, discovery rights is like it's really funny. It's like synonymous with monopoly money, just like we discussed with our buddy Kevincho earlier in the season, how at one point Sporting Kansas City had discovery rights to Cristiano Ronaldo, right? It's
Mhm.
like, can you imagine Ronaldo hanging out in Kansas City, playing in Kansas City? They would stop playing their home games at their stadium. They'd be playing all their home games at Arrowhead. But anyway, yeah, discovery rights. Apparently, Charlotte FC has a Marco Reus on the radar, but it's not the first German player that Charlotte has been linked to. I've heard rumors about them and maybe Lewandowski. So um, I wouldn't be too surprised. There is a sizable German population that lives in Charlotte. So for them to try and tap that market wouldn't be too far fetched. As far as LA Galaxy is concerned, I know Eddie postulated a certain scenario involving Riqui Puig, and we could also talk about that and a poll question that I put up earlier and which just ended. So I won't say anything else about that, but I'll just shift it over to Eddie. Eddie, talk to us, man.
Uh,
Controversy.
sure. No, well, controversy, yes, but then again, it's kind of a. I love this league, and in order for this league to work, you need things like discovery rights. It's a country that it's adopting this sport still, right? Uh, it has all these other children, it's the actual biological children is basketball, football. This is the adopted kid, that that and just you know in order for this league to work and to keep balance, so in the smaller markets, you need things like the discovery rights because it easily with like AEG writing the checks, we could sign everybody and just run away with it, right? And make it unfair. I don't like it. I mean, of course I don't like it, but I get it. I get that it's needed in this kind of league, right? Because where in what in what universe does Charlotte have a chance to sign Marco Reus if it's a free for all, right? You think he's gonna like I'm gonna go straight to Charlotte? No, there's no way, right? LA, New York, Chicago, Boston, whatever main cities, right? They're gonna go for. So I don't like it. I get it, but I think maybe there's some, you got to tweak a little bit the rules. Like, hey, well, no, actually that wouldn't be fair because they would hold off. I was gonna say like you have X amount of time to sign them or else they move on, but yeah, that wouldn't work either because the player would just fucking be like, well, I'm just gonna hold, and then once it's LA's turn, I'll go. But I get it. It's kind of like the NBA kind of did that. It sucked. My Lakers were in the wrong end of that when they didn't allow the Chris Paul trade because they didn't want to take a big player away from a small market. It's kind of like it's kind of the same thing, kind of. You have to give something up in order to not just hold all the key players, the star players in one city. So don't like it, but it's needed in this league.
Yeah. Well, to my understanding, every team gets 5 of these. Of course, San Diego, when they come in, they have 7, and then one of them is already being used on Chucky Lozano. But there's a little bit of news on that. On transfer market, sources have stressed to the transfer market that Marco Reus has no desire to join Charlotte FC.
Who does?
uh,
Oh shit! I said
You
that
guys
out
are
loud. Sorry,
mean,
CLTV.
he is interested in other teams and possibly interested in joining a Saudi Arabia team. What this tells me is that the LA Galaxy is going to go with another winger in the summer transfer window. I know we've talked about this on the show that maybe another striker is needed, But now with the recent update and injury report on Joseph Paintsil, a hamstring is not easy to come back from. So it's in the right direction. I mean, at least we're linked to something like that. So yeah, it is what it is. If he's not here, then that's fine.
Well, you know what though, the one thing we could touch on, we can say like even if we don't sign him, it's nice to be attached to these names again.
Yes,
right?
yes.
We haven't been in a long time, so it's kind of like we could even go as recent as Giroud. Right? We didn't get it, and maybe we'll get into this later, but we could use a Giroud, but we weren't linked to him at all. So it's nice at least to finally be mentioned with big name players. But yeah.
I mean, okay, with the whole Giroud thing, we did have a player by the name of Billy Sharp who would have fit perfectly with the team, but you
want to get to the striker thing. I have my takes on that too, and
we'll get to it later on when we talk about some of the stuff that the LA Galaxy could do to bolster up their offense and defense.
Hey guys, we have what do you call it? Oh my God, a
super chat.
Super chat. Sorry, my brain's it's Sunday night, man. We got super chat from Alex Gutierrez. Sends us $5. He says, "You all got Jazzy Sardes? Man, I love this even more."
Eddie's artist is our guest tonight.
Yes. Shout out Guti. Shout out to Guti. He got some great photos of Jesse's artist playing in a pink uniform. It's crazy.
Well, you mentioned Paintsil right now. Go ahead, Edgar.
Before we go into that, let me just go over the poll results because good old Eddie was like, "Hey man, what do you think about this?" And I'm like, "You know what? Let's put it up, man, because I want to hear what the Galaxy community has to say." So the question was, hey, fellow G's, simple question, just one answer. If you had to decide for one or the other to join LA Galaxy or to be with LA Galaxy, would it be Riqui Puig or Marco Reus? And 209 people voted by landslide, overwhelming majority, 90.4% said Riqui Puig. So what do you make of these results, Eddie?
I mean, I want to hear you guys first, and then I'll go ahead and shit on you.
Well, before all that happened, when I first heard about it this afternoon, right? There was a little bit of banter back and forth between me and the guys in Charlotte, and where I retweeted what you said. We were like, hey, hit up the guys in Charlotte; they can have Puig, and the guys in Charlotte were like, never say never. So I was like, you know what? Let's sweeten the deal. You give us those discovery rights, and we'll throw in vouchers for free in and out, 2 annual passes for Lee and JT to Disneyland, and then we'll even throw in Eric Zavaleta, and because they need some goal support, Miguel Berry.
I mean, you're giving them Zavaleta, bro. That's a steal. They gotta do it.
Perfect trade.
And Miguel Berry, so they can get some goals in there, right?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, let me put it into context for anybody who doesn't know. Charlotte's leading goal scorer only has 3 goals this season. So there. They've only scored 14 goals all year.
Oof. All right. So you said, simple question. If you have to decide for one or the other, at this moment, Riqui Puig. And I agree with the landslide.
Right, Edgar. Okay, why? I just want to hear why.
Go ahead, Brian.
For much of we've given him a lot of shit on the show for not being the guy that we want, the number 10 that we want him to be. But it's been clear and obvious that without him on the pitch, this team is lost. And there is no other creative person on this squad right now who can do what he can do. And that's a big one with whatever Vanny's trying to do with this team. Because of that reason, and the youth over Marco Reus all day.
I'll say something that's kind of in the middle. I'm just going to go back to something that happened in the conversation between me and the Charlotte guys. I'm not sure if this came up when I was a guest on their show or they came on to us, but I remember they said, hey, you guys have Riqui Puig, and that's an incredible player. We wish we had somebody like that, a midfield maestro. And the way they were describing him, and I think it was on their show, the way they were describing him, they made it seem like, God, you guys are so lucky to have a player like that. I wish we had somebody like that. We've never had anybody like that in our short history. And it got me thinking, uh, throughout the majority of LA Galaxy's history, they have had prolific people in the middle that pull the strings, that make things happen from the very beginning. You had Mauricio Cienfuegos, and over the years, you had players like Landon Donovan. Sorry, that noise was kind of
Fast and
distracting.
Furious.
Is that
Yeah,
the car passing by?
yeah.
That's me. Oh shit, my bad.
I was like, we don't have cars over here. But you know what I mean. Galaxy's had people in the middle that have been put in the strings. So we're kind of spoiled in that aspect. We've always expected to have somebody in the middle that will anchor the offense, will be a source of attack. And to hear somebody from an outsider's point of view saying, "Hey, why are you guys complaining?" Anybody would love to have that. And then you hear this conversation about Marco Royce, and you're like, "Hey, is how long is Puig really going to be here when you think about it? Versus a Marco Royce who could give you some very good, serviceable years, and he doesn't need to get better. He's already at the top of his game.
Thank
How
you.
many more? He gave you like what 2 or 3 more years, versus a Riqui Puig, who will he be here 2 to 3 years from now? Eddie?
Yeah, well, Edgar took some of my points away, but yeah, no, that's one of my arguments too. It's like, one is that right? Ricky's desire is not to be here. He said he wants to return to Europe. That's where he wants to be, right? So my point of view, he's playing as hard as he can, the best he can to make it back to Europe, right? I have my thoughts on Riqui. I say he's not it. It's highlights, right? It's highlights that he shows that everyone's like, but then nobody talks about when he turns over the ball on our own third, when he forces the balls, when there's an easy an easy ball to play, right? And think about Ricky's career in Europe. He couldn't break a fucking roster, a game day roster. We got him for cheap,
For free, wasn't it?
basically. And now you're talking about an accomplished player like Marco Royce. What do you think he can do?
Well,
What do you think
we
he
saw
can
an
do
example of something like that last year with Billy Sharp, guy
Yeah.
with tons of experience.
and then Marco Royce's pedigree is, way, way, way better than Billy Sharp's. So for me, honestly, it's a no-brainer. And then you're talking about the years you're gonna get. You're probably gonna get the same amount of years because Ricky either is gonna leave or because he wants to leave, or his heart's not here. When he finds out he can go to Europe, what kind of player do you think you're really gonna get? I've seen him check out, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of you have seen him check out. So yeah, to be like, you have a chance on Marco Royce, if we have to choose between one or the other, to me it's no brainer. I'm like, I'm taking Royce any day of the week. Yeah. No, you guys have to take off your rose color.
I'm saying with
glasses
Ricky.
too.
All
Edgar,
right.
you were gonna say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say something. So let's transition to something a little bit different that has been floating around as well. And I mentioned him already. And I've mentioned him before. It's Robert Lewandowski, right? We've been hearing rumors about maybe Lewandowski will somehow, some way end up in LA with LA Galaxy. Uh, how realistic is that? Considering the team already has all three DPs taken up, unless Joseph Paintsil is gonna be gone for a really long time with this hamstring injury, and Galaxy finds a way to maybe find a replacement for him.
Well,
I don't really see Lewandowski coming down here for anything else other than DP money.
yeah.
But is that something that you guys think is realistic, or
Well,
is this just somebody just spitballing?
let me pin this thought on you guys' mind too, right? Look at the money we paid for Paintsil and Gabriel Peck. Ricky's on a contract year, and this is outside of me like hating on Ricky or whatever, however you guys want to see it. If we're linked to all these players, who do you think's who's the odd man out?
It would be Ricky.
it would be Riqui, right?
Yeah.
So there is a possibility that there's something behind the scenes. If the Marco Royce thing is real, for all we know, they're already looking ahead.
Mm-hmm.
You guys cannot tell me that you see Peck or Paintsil for everything they paid moving in one season. Right?
No.
Say they signed Marco Royce, they bust that deal where he's like, "Oh, you're a 10 player this year, but next year you're DP." Who do you think is? Who do you think is going? I mean, no. I'm logically, who do you think it's going to be?
It'd be Riqui being out.
Yeah, I just want to pin that in your head. So if you're looking to bring a Lewandowski, it's possible. Well, something's got to give.
Yeah.
And then what do you think it's going to give? Yeah.
But these are just like he hasn't confirmed that he wants to leave after this season. So that's one of the things that maybe Kunsen and company are holding on to because he hasn't really declared, hey, after this season, I'm out.
Oh, he didn't put. Okay. He said when they asked him about his contract, he said he wants to go to Europe. He's in a contract year. All right. So he's not saying directly he wants to leave, but I think it's more like the way I took it, and that's where my beef started with him. was like, well, I want to go back to Europe, but fuck it, if it doesn't work out, I guess I'll stay here. Because he's a professional, and I think that's like one of the last things I talked about when I was on here. It's like you're a pro. You're a pro. You must have dealt with some kind of media in Barcelona. Like you're still under contract, dude. Why would you like say things like that? It's like it's more like I'm happy here. You know, I'm happy here, you know, and we'll see what the future holds. Not I want to go to Europe. When you're asked about your upcoming your expiring contract.
All right, I'm out.
Yeah, it's like all right.
And there is another thing I want to bring up, and it's something that Eddie loves to say, and he said it many times before. Sell high, right?
So high.
And I know MLS has been trying to push him as one of the faces of the league because one, he's in a big market. Two, he's a player that's gonna attract a lot of attention. Probably sell some tickets on the road because some people are like, "Hey, Riqui Puig is in town," or Riqui Puig, as some people call him across the country, right? So they're gonna want to go to attend, the Galaxy match as the Galaxy comes to town and check out this kid who may or may not have a fantastic game. Like he had a fantastic game in Vancouver, or he'll just be a dud, like he was this past weekend. I did tell the Charlotte guys though because they were so high on him, and I told them, would you guys see the highlights, right? The highlights that have been heavily edited to leave out what we see on a weekly basis, which is all the many times that he makes passes that either end up as turnovers or just errant passes that go nowhere or just completely miss their target. And so he's like a volume passer. It's like a term that you hear in the NBA, I think sometimes, maybe NFL, a volume passer, where he'll pass, and maybe one out of 10 passes hits its mark, and you're like, oh, this guy's an absolute genius, fantastic, oh, this guy's amazing. Let's put that on the highlight reel.
Yeah,
and maybe it's just him going through the whole process of maturing as a player, but that whole maturation process can be painful and frustrating to watch. So maybe eventually once he's like a nice polished professional, he'll be saying like, this guy is an amazing player. But for right now, you watch him. So 1 week he's great, another week kind of scratching your head.
Yeah. I don't know if it was on purpose, Edgar, but you even like convinced me and sold me more. I was like, oh, let's get rid of him in the summer then, because now I'm thinking like, damn, what if he walks away? Yeah, sell high. Let's do it now. That's my own. That's my own. Those are my own words. I honestly didn't even think about that. Like, what if he just walks away? That's another way we fuck up, because like I said, we gave Barcelona peanuts for Riqui. So selling high is not even that that crazy, right? So, I mean, I have some faith in the front office now. So I think if it happens in the summer, shouldn't be mad. Even if you're a Riqui fan, the front office knew something.
But I mean, just to push it a little bit further, it's something you and I have discussed before. Where would he go though? He wouldn't go to the Barcelonas. He wouldn't go to the Real Madrid. he might not even go to like an Atletico. He might end up with like what, Valencia,
Yeah, I mean,
Valladolid,
he says Europe. What's Europe to him, right? He can go to
Getafe.
fucking Norway. I don't know, Denmark. I
Send
don't
them,
know. Like he just he said Europe.
send
I
them to
mean,
the Cyprus, the Cyprus league.
And I think this is where the front office could have an opportunity to kind of sell him on staying here because he's not going to be able to make it to those big teams. Hey, you could be here. You could be a star. We could pay you this much. You're going to live a great life here. I'm still, I'm now on Riqui's, on the Riqui boat. Yeah, I think he's a very important part of what this offense does. And I know you guys talked about these turnovers, and those are early in the seasons. These last 5 games, he's been a pivotal point of us trying to get to the attacking third, and it's just our forwards aren't finishing. So yeah, we'll see what the front office is, because if everybody around the league is praising Riqui and we're not, I mean, maybe we're the ones tripping.
no,
Well,
because
you guys tripping.
you can't. No, it's also Edgar just touched on it. It's they have to praise this guy. They have to put him on a pedestal because it's Apple. It's MLS. They're selling a product. They're still selling a product. I don't think even Twelman's gonna get on fucking
Fucking
on Apple TV and be like, oh, Riqui is garbage for 80% of the game, and then he does 1 or 2 things. You know, they're never gonna do that. So don't listen to what the MLS pundits say. Don't let them decide for you because they're never gonna do that. And it's always the same thing. The ex-Barcelona player, Riqui Puig, which he couldn't break the fucking bench, but they'll always say the ex-Barcelona player, Riqui. Watch, just remember that. They're always gonna tell you. Yeah, they're always gonna tell you like that. So,
By the way,
take it easy.
To jump off Eddie's point, I listen to a lot of different podcasts across the league, right? And I was listening to the guys from Scarves and Spikes talking about their rivalry with Miami. These are the guys that cover Atlanta United. And one of them brought up a really interesting point that I have not been able to get out of my mind. And once I mention it to you guys won't be able to get it out of your head too. They're like, hey, have you guys noticed that no matter how well any other team is doing, they're never going to be able to catch Miami? Because Miami's doing well on their own, but because they played that one first game earlier in the season than anybody else, right? They always have one game ahead of everybody. So no matter what happens, they're always going to be at the top of the standings.
That's funny.
And they're like, it's just one way that MLS is trying to like sell that team to the point where like, you guys might have the same winning percentage or like the same kind of points per game, but because Miami has that extra game, they're always going to show up a little bit higher in the standings, no matter what you do. That's just the way MLS works. They gotta market their team. They gotta market the products one way or another. So
Edgar got cut
like
by
that. It just made me chuckle, and I was like, "Damn, that's kind of sneaky."
And Eddie Bros.
Oh wait, am I back? I can hear you guys again.
We have another super chat, guys.
Yes, read it off, sir.
Want to read it?
Go ahead.
Okay. Friend of the show who was on one of my Instagram interviews, Stephen Ma, says, "I'm with Riqui, not Vanny."
Yeah. Yeah. Let's go. Shout out to Steven. Well, before we got into this whole Riqui talk, which we should have left it for the end, we're talking about
we come back around. I don't mind. I can go.
We were mentioning the Paintsil injury. Per Vanny, he will be out for a few weeks with hamstring strain. We know that, and Spenny mentioned this earlier in the group chat that we have, that Paintsil hasn't really gotten a break. He's played 42 games this year, MLS and in Belgium. So that's a lot of soccer. And when you're in, it's weighing on him. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's where we need to look on the wings, because if he can't be healthy the whole year, and I know that's a lingering injury. If he can't go all year, we're gonna need a replacement. Fagundes could only play one side. We'll see.
I'll take the lead on this one real quick. It's okay. I think it's okay. I think Fagundes is serviceable there.
More than serviceable, to be honest.
Yeah. We're lucky to have him. This might keep him here, because even though I don't want to trade him, obviously, but he's a guy that could probably start in like more than half of other teams in MLS. And if he knows that, then why wouldn't he want to leave, right? And these hamstring injuries are lingering. So even if he's ready in 4 weeks, 4 weeks is like the minimum, right, for hamstrings. I'm the hamstring expert right here, so I can tell
Oh
you.
yeah.
You can't rush him back in, especially a player that as speedy as he is, right? He uses his speed a lot. So even when he's back, they're gonna have to ease him into to into the starting lineup. So we're probably looking at like if it's they say strain, like if he pulled his hamstring, we're looking at like 8 weeks maybe till you see him start again. Yeah, in my opinion.
That's a lot of MLS games. Well, it gives the opportunity for Fagundes to show
It is,
why he
yeah.
should stay here.
Yeah, and then it's gonna be good because then once they move Riqui, they're gonna have somebody that plays the ball quicker, so we're gonna be good.
You're absolutely correct too, man. Like you said, a player like him who depends on the explosiveness to get away from defenders, and will need that explosiveness to cut and juke. Man, you can't. There's no way you can come back that easily. And you want to make sure that he is healthy as the team heads towards like the middle of the summer, and especially towards the fall season, because 42 games already this year, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of football.
Let me tell you something real quick, and we can shift on to something else. Players, they get really upset when you ask them, are you tired? You look kind of tired out there, or you look like you have heavy legs. I remember way back in, I would say, fall of '98, Kobe Jones had just gotten back from playing in the World Cup. And, there was the whole, on top of the Galaxy games, he was doing, the whole qualifying process with the US. Then he went to the World Cup, and then he came back. And I remember at one point, he just looked really lethargic. And I went up to Kobe and I asked him, "Hey, Kobe, you didn't look like you were, all there, in this game. Do you think that, maybe, your legs are, kind of tired? Do you think maybe you need a break?" And he got so offended. He got really upset with me. He's like, "What? What kind of question is that? Of course I'm not tired." I'm like, "All right, take it easy." So yeah, players will not want to admit it because they that's just the kind of people that they are, it's the kind of beasts that they are, right? They won't want to admit it, but at some point or other, if they're not very careful, they will get hurt. And then what's the point of having that ego if it's gonna hurt you? So if they want to sit him down, that's fine. Let him rest. Just make sure when he comes back, he'll be the same explosive guy we always knew.
Well, speaking of injuries and player getting opportunities, let's get into the lineup.
Oh shit, we're gonna talk about this game.
Yeah, even if it's quick, because yes, spoiler alert, it was a snooze fest. At goal with number 35. I don't even know his first name actually.
His name? Oh, Novak Mikovic.
Novak. Oh yeah, there it is. Is it Mitrovic or Mikovic?
Damn, with a name like that guy can be an NBA MVP.
Mikovic. Somebody
a surprising start actually.
Dude, they're in the Apple broadcast. They kept calling him Mitrovic. I'm like, shut up.
Yeah, that's why I asked. Is it Mitrovic or Mikovic?
It's Mikovic.
All right. A surprising start, by the way. Out left, you have Julian Alde. The Sioux center backs, Maya Yoshida, your captain, and Jalen Neal. Out right, Mickey Yamane. In the midfield, your trio will consist of Edwin Cerrillo, Mark Delgado, and Riqui Puz. Up top, on the right side, Gabriel Peck. On the left side, Diego Fagundes. And up top, your lead scorer, Dejan Jovelic. All right, boys. Which one's the surprise and which one's the okay, I guess.
Eddie, you go since you're back.
Me? Sure. Surprise is hard. It's hard to say surprise for anyone, I guess. Well, actually, yeah, I'll do one. I'll finish that thought first. It's not really surprise because it's a short week, right? You expect changes, so there's no surprise there. I think the one surprise, and I'm assuming we'll get into this later. I guess it's Yoshida, right? Except besides whatever comments that I'll have later, it's like his age he's been playing. It's interesting to see him not rotated. You know, it's again, everything aside, right? The performances that I could critique or whatever, it's his age and he's and in a turf game as well too. So I don't know. I found that interesting, a little surprising. I expected maybe to see a Neo and Cáceres or something else. But then again, Cáceres is also injured. I don't know if it's, I know we make fun of Zabaleta, but I don't know if Zabaleta is back or not or what the deal is. But that's one that surprised me. I can't say anything else as much of a surprise because rotations in a short week. What is it? 3 games in 7 days or something like that. So so not too many surprises. I guess if I had to nitpick, it'll be that.
Edgar?
I mean, it wasn't a surprise to see Mikovic in there because, like you said, 3 matches in 7 days. And although goalkeepers don't move around too much, it's an opportunity for him to get in there and prove his worth, and at the same time, give J-Mac a break. And Mikovic was up to the task. He did a fine job. He wasn't really tested, but when he did, he made his 1 or 2 good saves. But to piggyback off what Eddie said about Maya Yoshida, and we keep talking about how LA Galaxy has been giving up all these goals on set pieces, and it's kind of unsettling that when you look at a lot of those highlights, it's Maya Yoshida keeps getting dunked on. I have to use an example that we can all relate to. He keeps getting dunked on, man. Especially in that last game. Both him and Neil both got dunked on in that last game against Minnesota before the Charlotte game. And you shouldn't have to see your captain, the one guy that's supposed to be like the one anchor in the back, the guy with the most experience, getting roughed up and thrown around like that. So at some point you wonder, hey, is it okay if we give you a break? Senpai, it's okay. Sit down, relax, buddy. Let somebody else step in there, and once you get your head on, you come back in. But it's kind of hard because, from what I understand, whenever you meet him in person, he's such a genial figure. Has a commanding presence. It's kind of hard to say no to him, right? But for his own good, for the good of the team, maybe he needs a break.
Maybe. And we also have newly signed Emilio Garces. We have yet to see him touch the pitch at all.
Yeah,
so you would have thought that maybe you see some of those rotations in. Then again, having 2 young guys in the middle who probably are just going to be their first game together, you wouldn't want that either. Again, spoiler alert, they ended up with a point. And a point away is better than no points.
Yeah.
So let me give you guys some stats from the first half. I know this shit ended at a draw, but
yay, stats.
But at least let's give some stats. Of course, the LA Galaxy had most of the possession with 67-32. Shots 7-4. I want to say 3 on target. And the pass success rate was 95-90. I know the game was pretty boring, but what are three things that you guys did like about that first half, and maybe 3 things you guys disliked?
God, 3?
Oh, just a 1-on-1, I guess.
3 that we liked.
This was a pretty snooze fest.
Well, the weather seemed nice.
One thing you liked and one thing you disliked. We'll go 1 each. Different ones too.
Hey, you can go first, man.
Sure. I guess maybe nobody brings this up. I think I liked Cirio in there. I think that you get something different with Brugman and Cirio, and it's hard to say that one is better than the other, but you get something different. But I starting to feel that working them into it and giving the experiences, it's going to be better to have Cirio going forward because this ball needs to move fast. And I felt, even though it was a snooze fest, and it also doesn't demand Riqui to have the ball so much. And I mean that like that, not as in like I don't want him to have the ball, but less work for him. That ball moves quicker when Cirio is on the field compared to when Brugman's on there. So I liked Cirio being in this lineup, and he had a pretty solid game overall. Or first half. I guess we're in the first half, right? Sorry, first half. Spoiler game.
Edgar, one thing you did like.
Uh, I just like the fact that LA Galaxy didn't get run off the field in a East Coast matchup, uh, because, like I said, 3 matches, 7 days, and then they top it off having to travel across the country. Uh, they didn't even get an opportunity to come back home. They just flew from Minnesota straight to Charlotte. So not being able to sleep in your own bed, being gone for that long, and then having to get up and play a little earlier than you're used to. Galaxy has never, I mean, historically, they haven't been very good in East Coast matchups like this. But to come out there and not get run off the field, that was a good thing. Although Charlotte's not the kind of team that does that anyway. They kind of lull you to sleep and then find their opportunities when they can. But it was just, to me, it was a big plus. Not being down at the half. It's
Oh
always
yeah,
good.
especially at that. We've seen these past couple matches where the LA Galaxy seem to fall asleep in the first half, and then all of a sudden wake up. It's emergency time. Let's go second half. Uh, yeah, so I agree with you on that one. One thing that I did like about this first half, and it kind of goes with what Eddie was saying, the fact that Serio was finding Gabriel Peck wide open a lot of those times, and
Yeah.
for him being the other winger DP who you should be relying on because he's a DP, he showed that he was able to get into that space and try to work. One thing I didn't like about this half is that none of those opportunities came with a goal. Nothing was set up properly from his side. Maybe because he's so left-footed that he can't pass with his right, that he wasn't executing the game plan. But that's one thing I didn't like, just not being able to finish in the final third. Eddie, one thing you didn't like about this first half.
I'll do more than one because one is obvious, and this is going to be the Riqui hate all the time. Right? I'm just here to bring you guys back to reality. This one was a little new actually, and then I challenge everyone. I say challenge because that fucking game was a snooze fest. To watch that game again in the first half, and I watched it with other people that I trust their soccer opinion, including cousin Cisco. What up, primo? Riqui was like, when one thing I like, he was not just forcing passes; he was throwing these weird ass balls, and like there was like a ball he played like over the top to like put supposedly like Peck, and then he like starts yelling at Peck. I'm like, what? Like it didn't make sense. Like, what did you see there? He did that a couple times, right? Besides the forcing the pass, and again, that's the Riqui hate's gonna keep coming. So if you don't like
Hey.
if you don't like it, there's plenty of other podcasts. Like Una Galaxia, a good friend of ours, they're on Monday. So if you don't like the Riqui hate, tune into them. No, one thing I didn't like, although, and I wonder if this is a Vanny thing, right? Because do you guys remember like when we first saw Gabriel Peck on the field, like when he was just getting minutes, there was like some flair there, right?
Yeah.
And he looked very nimble. He looked like he moved. He's not showing it,
Yeah,
at all. And it's like there's times when we need him, and he was like played like Serio played him in one like wide, and he was caught on a one-on-one, and he like waited, and it's like, fucking take him on, do something. And instead, he just did a simple like, oh, let me go back and wait for this. And there was multiple occasions where this kind of happened, and I wondered like, is this like a Vanny telling like don't? Because we saw it in the beginning, and I was excited for it. I remember seeing it, and I'm like, this is gonna be, this is gonna be a special guy, and maybe getting ahead of myself, and we can talk about it later. But I'm just kind of underwhelmed with him so far. Price tag. You got to think about the price tag. Our record signing. Yeah. So it's pretty underwhelming. But yeah, those are two things I didn't like.
I think we touched on that before.
Go
ahead,
just
Edgar.
real quick. Yeah, absolutely. You're right, Eddie. When I was on the CLTFC Fan TV show, that I was talking about our wingers, and I mentioned that I said we got this amazing player. Well, I mean, he looked amazing, right? On the highlight packages that we saw before he joined the team, and Gabriel Peck. I was watching him during the pre-Olympic tournament with Brazil. So we were really excited because he's the kind of player that will take defenders one-on-one, or with his speed, always take the ball straight to the box and attack. He's the kind that doesn't back down. And in the last few games, not even the last few games, I'd say the last 4 to 5 games, it seems like he's pumped the brakes, slowed down, and kind of just regressed a bit. I don't know how to describe it, but you've seen it, Eddie. You know what I'm talking about. He
Yeah.
doesn't, like you say, he doesn't show that jogo bonito
No.
that we were so excited about, and it seems like he's just falling slot, like just in step with everybody else with the vanity ball, right? Where he waits for things to happen instead of trying to make them happen. Which where have I heard that? Where have I said that before? With Dayon, remember Dayon in 22, the kind of guy that didn't wait for things to happen, he would make things happen. And nowadays, you look at him, and he's like pretty much waits for his teammates to either give him service, or he waits for his teammates and passes the ball back. I've been seeing Gabriel Peck do that a lot, where he passes the ball back. Now, on the flip side, this is something where maybe we could needle that whole Riqui hate thing, right? Sometimes when he does get the ball, he gets it in the corner, or he gets it in a compromised position where he can't do that. So then he's forced to pass the ball back. So, it could go either way.
Yeah, and I agree with both of you in those points that Gabriel Peck has not looked like the record-breaking DP that we've wanted. But maybe it is
Oh,
Vanny.
no.
Maybe it is Vanny. He's slowed down. We'll get Eddie back in a bit. Yeah, he has been he's regressed a little bit, and maybe it is because of the whole Vanny style ball. All right, second half, more snooze fest. There is one particular play that I'm gonna call you guys out on it, because Riqui gave a beautiful through ball to Gabriel Peck where he kind of whipped and missed.
I
could
counter that.
It could have put the LA Galaxy up 1-0. He also, Dejan had a chance too, where he could have put the LA Galaxy up. But yeah, I mean, again, it was more of the same in the first half. A lot of domination by the LA Galaxy, more shots on goal. Just none of them went in the back of the net, and I don't even know what to say if I like it or not. But yes, Eduardo.
I'm countering the Riqui thing.
Yes,
I double challenge you guys. Watch the second out of that game too.
I did.
Watch that play from the beginning. Riqui was second guessing that pass. He took forever, and I'm not gonna bail Peck out at all. But he could have played that ball earlier, and he could have put himself in a better position to score. But Riqui, being Ricky's like, not enough dribbling for me. Let me over dribble, and then he finally gave it to him. So yeah, yeah. Fuck your Riqui challenge.
Yeah. So then what is one thing you did like from the second half?
We didn't lose. That was cool. No, it's yeah. I mean, obviously we didn't lose. I guess that it's obvious, but I'm trying to think if we got like any kind of we were put in any kind of danger besides I think it was Nelson that fumbled the ball. Oh, double fumble, right? I think it was.
No, it wasn't that one.
No, that was Cerillo, yeah. That was one Cerillo's one mistake, yeah. That and the Nelson blunder. But those are like self-inflicted. And those are things we had to tighten up. But I think that is like what I like, that we didn't really weren't putting in any danger. I don't think in set pieces we were really putting in any danger, which is a nice breath of fresh air, you know. So I guess that, and then we'll continue in the not like later. But yeah, this I guess that was what I like. That I can't really think of any non-self-inflicting fucking wounds that we were in any kind of danger, or we felt like we were losing control of the game.
What's something that you did like in the second half, Edgar?
Mikovic, whenever when his teammates made mistakes, he was there to clean them up. We saw that in the 69th minute when Tiger Smalls was able to get in there and take a shot, and Mikovic just cleaned it up, man. So he might not be the number one, but at least he's somebody that you can rely on to do something like that for you. But let me remind you guys that Charlotte doesn't particularly score a lot of goals. They rely a lot on their defense. And I'll bring it up. This is their fourth consecutive Kalina sheet, as they like to call it, clean sheet, because their goalkeeper is Kalina. So if you guys missed it in the midweek preview, the Charlotte guy said that their new manager, Dean Smith, every time the team gets a clean sheet, he gives all the players like fine wines. So these guys, they're either have a nice little wine cellar going there, or after every game, these guys just get down, man. But yeah, four straight clean sheets. I mean, I can't think the last time LA Galaxy did something like that. Maybe in 2010. I don't know, 2011 maybe. It's been a while. But then again, like I said, they don't score a lot of goals. um, Lee said something funny. I didn't catch during our midweek preview. He said, "Hey, why don't we take y'all's offense and take our defense and put them together, and we have like a super team."
All right, they could take Riqui and Dejan. Just give us the discovery rights. That's all we want.
So yeah, man. It's just, I was gonna say Kalina, Mikovic, man. He did well, and we didn't give up any goals on set pieces. So yeah, there you go. Two things.
The one thing I did like was that the LA Galaxy looked a little bit more dangerous in that second half. What I didn't like is that they didn't put anything in the back of the net. And this game could have been one of those games that they could have taken 3 points away from this match. And I don't know what it was. Maybe they didn't get enough sleep. Maybe the tired legs from the midweek game that they had. They just didn't look sharp in the final third. And I know these last 5 games. Well, let me give you the stat. The last 5 games, I actually have written down. In the last 5 games, there's been 1 loss, 4 ties, 4 goals, 4 and 6 against. It's been a tough stretch for the LA Galaxy, a tough road month. Are you guys impressed by the fact that they only lost 1 game, or should we have had a couple wins in this series of away games?
I'll tackle that first. Yes and no. I say, well, they haven't lost. They have thrown away numerous golden opportunities to win games, which is something that has haunted them in the past over the last few years. And it's something that's going to be really annoying. At first, when they're picking up draws, you're like, okay, I got 3, 4 draws. And now you look at the standings, there are 7 draws. Like, geez, those are drop points in games that were winnable, like the Minnesota game, for example. That should have been a win. This could have been a win, except that, like I said, Kalina, the goalkeeper from Charlotte, he made some great saves. Like I was going to point out, there was a shot by Fagundes in the 19th minute. He made a fantastic save.
Yeah.
So credit to them, but at the same time, if we had better finishing, because I know Joveljic had his opportunity as well, and he went wide. Better finishing, Galaxy could have picked up points in every one of those games that they had draws. But yeah, as maybe what 5 weeks ago, we were like, hell yeah, top of the table, baby, Supporter Shield. And then since then, it's just been like a slow erosion where you see them just kind of stuck there. Like especially like the title of the show, right? What is it? The May the Galaxy stood still. They're just there, man. They're just dead in the water. So yeah.
Eddie, were you impressed with this
stretch
of games?
Well, yes and no. And then I was one of the ones that was not celebrating the top of the table, right? Hope you guys kept your receipts because you guys bought in too early. No, but yeah, I'll pick it back off Edgar. Yes and no, right? I guess on paper, you have all these road games, so I was like, oh, we didn't really lose too many, or 1 or 2. I don't remember, but it's also like look at how those ties happened, right? Let's look at this last game, and it's like it was Charlotte was not dangerous. We weren't creative in the final third. We got fucking Yoshida getting dunked on in other games, right? We have Vanny making bad subs. Like, you have to look at how these ties are happening. So we could have been in a whole different situation. So that's why it's yes and no. I mean, on paper, you're like, all right, cool. At least we're not losing these games. But there was a bad season where I think we changed coaches or something like in recent years. I can't remember exactly what happened, but we went on like a run where we just had a ton of draws and we didn't like make the playoffs. It's no different than then, right? We're all over here like celebrating, like, hell yeah, we're back No. I don't know when you started watching the Galaxy, but this is my Galaxy's not back. Maybe yours is, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's yes and no. Like it's maybe a cop out answer, but it's that's really how I feel because it could have gone differently, but it didn't. So
I
I
kind of
mean,
want to give the team credit actually.
mhm.
This last year would have been a disaster, and we would have been on here again, raging, nagging, complaining about everything that Vanny is and what he isn't. This year, I know we haven't. I mean, we had a good start, and you, Eddie, and Edgar have said that this team is not back, but they're not what they are last year, and so that's an improvement in my eyes. And I'm pretty sure that's where a lot of people feel some type of excitement towards this team. Granted,
Well,
we did drop a couple points with Minnesota. Go ahead.
pump the brakes though. Pump the brakes. Yeah, we were not last year. Look what you're comparing it to though.
yeah.
It's
gonna
like
say-
you're setting.
it's
That's
a
what you're
better
setting
team.
the bar. It's like,
I mean,
But it's
when
something that
you've
we
been,
haven't had in 10 years.
I mean, when you've been like languishing through a desert and you see like a little glass of water in the middle of the desert, it's gonna feel like the greatest glass of water ever, but it's still just a glass of water.
we got
And
Arrowhead water. That's what we got right now.
hey, everyone's
Hydrates you
good,
though,
man.
so don't you do that.
But I was gonna say, it was just it feels like an eternity, but it was just under a month ago. Like I said, I was in Vancouver for that game, and Galaxy was top of the supporter shield, top of the West, and they had just gotten this impressive win on the road against a decent team. And I say decent, right? Because Vancouver has fallen off the map as well. But they got this. That was their last road win, and since then it's just been like ugh, just kind of fell off the map. But are we nitpicking, or is this like
I
a
don't think so.
valid reason to complain?
No,
I mean,
I
that's
think
what
it's
I think
as well.
I think you guys are tripping, to be honest.
no. I think it's absolutely fair, right? I think it's fair because if you look at the schedule when those wins happen, and I stand by it, right? It the product on the field and what we've been watching has not been impressive as of late, right? And then you could go back and I was looking at all the games, the ones we won and everything. All those wins and all those draws in the beginning were impressive. We caught breaks every single time, including Miami because they
Yeah.
were on tired legs. Every single game.
And
The
Eddie,
one
even
the
the
one
game against Vancouver, one of their best players got hurt in the
in the
the first
beginning,
20
right?
minutes of the game.
Exactly. Uh we beat a shit team in San Jose. That's like the most away. That was like the most complete game we had, right? Then they came to us and we almost even shit the bed there. It's these are valid. We're not nitpicking. It's just there's a lot we did improve, but it's not there. It's not like we're like a top even top 5 maybe team, right? I think we can get into the playoffs, but we're nowhere near close to being back. We're not as good as the table is telling us right now. We're not tripping. They're all valid, dude. Like we've watched the sport long enough, and if you want to sit there and lie to yourself and say like, "Oh yeah, this team is great," oof, man, you're gonna be you got something else coming to you at the end of the season. Not to say that things can't change, right? We still have this young guy in the center back we haven't seen yet. We still have like max TAM money. We still don't know what's gonna happen this summer. You know, I joke and I kid about Riqui. We don't know what's gonna happen there either, right? Or if Ricky's gonna wake up. In my eyes, you know, he's like I called him the magic man. Now you see me, now you don't. You know, we don't know if he's just gonna be there, you know, consistently showing up. So they're valid. You know, if you feel like this team isn't that good, then you're not wrong. You're not wrong. You know, if you're content and you're happy with this Galaxy team, then I envy you because I can't be.
So this is where I'm coming from. The fact that they're able to go in these away trips and still grind out a point. I know the one we did drop was maybe at home against RSL, but then again, RSL is a really, really good team. And yeah, they woke up late in the second half and Miguel Berry had that amazing GOAT moment. But the fact that they grind out a tie against Minnesota and then they grind out a tie in Charlotte, Those are points gained. They're not points dropped, and that's
No, I agree in that.
what I'm giving
Those
them
are
credit
both
for.
points dropped to me, man.
But you gotta give them credit because there's still points, and they're
I
still
mean, it's
having
like
you
saying,
be
"Hey, I
competitive
got
for
a
West.
C. I didn't fail." It's still a C.
Hey, it's not a failing grade. And we've been very critical of Vanny and what he's done throughout the years. And right now, he's a C. That's better than an F. He was an F
You
these
got
last
an A
3,
for
4
better than
seasons.
the C, though.
Yeah, dude, that's the thing. You can't be content with the C, dude. That's exactly it. You said it yourself. You're saying it yourself right there.
But this is, and the C's not
You know-
bad because,
you know,
like you mentioned, there's room for
C-
improvement.
C stands for Clippers, fool. That's why you're happy with this mediocre ass team. Sorry, Edgar.
Yeah.
Sorry, I dragged you into this, but
Straight bullets to Edgar.
yeah.
Eddie, what was that? It just reminds me of that quote from The Simpsons, where Barney and Homer are trying to get into NASA, and then at the end, Barney starts drinking the champagne, and then Homer ends up, what is it? The greatest words in the American language, by default, or something like that.
By default. I don't remember
That's
the exact.
that's the LA Galaxy right now. By default, they're getting these draws.
Oh,
Well,
man. So what you're
speaking
saying
of
is
draws and points, go ahead.
So what you're saying, Edgar, is we need what is it, shiny green rod to to bail us out?
Yeah.
Well, let
You
me
never
give you-
know. It might be Garces. By the way, I want to bring this up because it's been nearly a month since we heard about him, and the whole like they're bringing him in. He's coming in. He's coming in. Guys, he's coming in. He's here. He's here. We saw the Instagram post. Okay, well, where is he? Is he here? Is he there? What's going on? Okay, let's think. Okay, wrong answers only, right? Why has Garces not played a game yet?
Because they can't get his jersey name right. They keep doing Cáceres instead of Garces. They make 2 Cáceres jerseys, just like what happened with Fagundes. So that's why he'll figure it out, though.
because
Brian?
he hasn't tried.
Answers only.
He hasn't tried Zabaleta's zucchini casserole.
Oh, maybe he did try it. He made him.
That's why he's not starting.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that is a fact, though. He needs. I don't know. We'll see what happens in the future. But I
I
will.
got
want
one
to
more.
see
I
him
got one more. I
salute.
got one more. I
Go.
got one more. I got one more. He came in and he was better than Zabaleta, so he snitched to his uncle, and he's gonna play him more.
Nah, you
Oh,
leave
boo.
Rey Zabaleta alone, all right? As my captain.
It's all good. He's on his way to Charlotte, so we'll be good.
That's right.
There we go.
It's the blue. Blue's his color. So
Yeah.
It is
good.
blue. All right. Well, let me give you guys the standings out in the West.
Standings.
Up top,
Slow.
Real Salt Lake with 28 points. Second, Minnesota with 24. Austin, dude, since they beat us, they've kind of gone on a little
Yeah,
run.
they've been on a run, man.
Austin in third place with 22 points, and the LA Galaxy in fourth with 22. Fifth, the noisy neighbors at 21. Colorado in sixth with 21. Vancouver in seventh with 19. Houston Dynamo, who we're going to see this upcoming weekend, with 18 in eighth spot. The ninth spot, St. Louis with 16. All right, the LA Galaxy, what is it, a third way into the season? Standing fourth.
We're definitely a third of the way into the season. Yeah.
Standing fourth with a lot of room for improvement. December window is not that far away. Have we done where do you think the LA Galaxy is going to end up? Have we done that one yet this season?
I don't think so.
Well, with the standings and everything, how it's looking, Eddie, where do you see the LA Galaxy? Where do you see the LA Galaxy at the end of the season? Remember, they're at a C- right now. Still got room for improvement with the summer transfer.
It's a solid C, not a C minus. It's a C.
Well, I can only judge by what they have now, right? So it's just for the sake of argument, say they don't make any moves. We end with this team. We're a playoff bottom half team. And how many goals does Dejan have?
7 right now.
Dejan ends with 9 goals.
Damn.
Edgar?
Man, I see Galaxy dropping as far as 7. Just like having a very eventful and dramatic the decision day.
Ooh, again?
Again.
Damn it. Well, I've been drinking the Kool-Aid, and I actually came on La Cuna Galaxiana. Shout out to those boys. And I
An
said top
overdose.
three. I said top three in the West.
Damn.
I kind of have a feeling that whatever happens in the transfer window is going to improve the team a lot, especially because I think I have that trust in Kuntz and company. That front office has done great work this offseason. Now they have another window where they could do some more work. And I
Well, let's
them.
answer that question again, like I did with no moves. This team
No
today.
move. I can see them in five. That's top five. I think so.
Okay.
Top five,
Hey,
fully healthy with this roster. Top five.
Hey, check me up with some of that Kool-Aid you're drinking because it definitely has some psychedelics in it.
I got
You're tripping. You're tripping over there.
For me, that seems fair right now. I don't think. Let's see who else is below us. Colorado's not better than the Galaxy. Vancouver's not. Houston's
Colorado is
not.
better than the Galaxy.
Colorado's better than the Galaxy.
St. Louis is
They
not.
are.
Seattle is definitely not. Portland, Dallas, Kansas, San Jose. No.
Okay, if we're gonna play that game, here, let me have my shot at it right now. LAFC, let's be honest, they're gonna be better than the Galaxy. Once Giroud
Yep.
gets in there, they're gonna start murdering.
They're already better than us.
Yeah, Colorado better than the Galaxy right now. Vancouver, I don't know what the hell's wrong with them, but they should be better than they are. Houston, Ache was missing for a good portion of the season. He's just getting back into form, so we should expect them to start playing better. They're better than the record. St. Louis, they're going sideways over there. I don't know what the hell's wrong with that team.
I called that one.
Seattle's dead in the water. They like we were talking to Shayan, they should blow up the team, start over again.
Yep.
FC Dallas, wah, 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 wah. And then SKC, I don't know what the hell's wrong with them. And then you have the Smurfs, who they might shock you when you least expect it, but right now, not so good. But yeah, so that's why I said I think Galaxy went up in seventh. I see LFC, I see the Rapids, and maybe even Dynamo finishing ahead of Galaxy if they're not careful.
Yeah, we're talking about this roster though.
With this roster, though.
Yes,
Yeah.
with this roster right now. Minnesota is better than people think, and they have 2 games in hand on everybody else right now. If you look at
Oh
it.
shit.
Oh, yeah, that is true. Oh, damn, that is true. Anyway, enough of these standings. We actually forgot to give awards. We'll do these quick. Eddie, give me your game is off. If you have a BJ, your honorable mention, and your next standing.
Can't give. I'll just do. No, it's hard because like you know how I am.
Mhm.
This whole Riqui thing and Dayon thing. So, but their games are not off. It's kind of the same. So I'll give Riqui the BJ because of the first half and the antics he was pulling. You know, if again challenge you guys to watch it, you'll see him like flare his arms with balls that didn't make sense. 2 is and then the game is off. I'll go with Dayon. There's nothing there, dude. There's like no he doesn't create chances for this team. Like I was mentioning, like he was making the same exact run every time. It's like, you know, sometimes as a forward, when you have like your winger dribbling down, it's like, you know, start making that run and pause in the penalty spot. Like he would not change his run, and then he had that miss. It's like he's just not a confident striker. So Dejan gets the games off. Honorable mention will be Mikovic. And then
you're doing all 3 at once? All
yeah,
4?
well, yeah, I'm just gonna go. He said fast, and then and next standing is gonna be Sergio. Aside from the one blunder, I think Sergio had a really solid game. And yeah, back to the Brugman who kind of argument.
Edgar, game is off. Honorable mention, next standing. And if you want to give a BJ, you're more than welcome to.
Give yourself. I'll definitely go with Dayon, man. And it's just that it's. I'm not just trying to copy Eddie's homework, but it's just the fact that it's like somebody put out his fire or something. You know, sometimes you see people that have a fire in their heart. It feels like somebody put out his fire, like, and even when he scores goals, it feels like it's a muted celebration. You don't see that same exuberance, that same excitement that we used to see with Dayon. And that was one of the things that people liked about him, his personality.
Yeah.
And You don't see that anymore, and it makes me wonder. I know at some point or other, all of us have experienced this where you do things a certain way, right? You're used to doing things a certain way, or you've been taught to do things a certain way, and then somebody comes along and tells you you're wrong. You're not supposed to do it that way. This is how you're gonna do it. You're gonna do it this way, and this is the way it has to be from now on. And you get angry and you get frustrated, and then you kind of begrudgingly have to accept that in order to work with this system, even if you don't like it. That's the sense I get with him. I feel like at some point somebody says, we don't like that day off in 22 because you're gonna fit a whole different new role. So you're gonna have to play this way, even if you don't like it. That's what he looks like. He looks like a scolded kid who's been told to do things a different way. And when he scores goals, he does his thing and he'll smile, but overall it feels like he's kind of like angry. Um or smoldering. It's another way to describe it. But anyway, let me think. For um, Hartman Award, I will say, um, sorry, I'm trying to think of it. Johnny Nelson. Yeah, he had that little hiccup, but I feel like Johnny Nelson's somebody you can rely on. He's like I mentioned it earlier in the chat. I said he's a blue collar type guy. He works hard, and it's one of those players that came in with very little fanfare, but which has slowly, quietly earned the respect that a lot of Galaxy fans are giving him. And then we'll get to Adam's super chat in a bit. Let me just wrap this up. And then as far as next standing, I'll gotta give it to Mikovic to come in, step in like that, and not give up a goal against a team that likes to take advantage of situations to score the very few goals that they do score. He did fine. So gotta give him his little clap. Now, as far as the super chat is concerned, Adam says $5 to us. He says, I doubt Dynamo finish higher than they have. They have the least amount of goals scored in the Western Conference. But to respond to him, just remember, Achi was missing for a while. He's coming back, so it's something to keep an eye on. Brian?
Well, I am going to give it BJ. And it's going to go to the player that you gave your honorable mention to because of that blunder. Johnny Nelson is going to get beat. I've given him a honorable mention before. We've even said it in the beginning of the season that he was going to be a solid pickup. He has been all right when he's come in. Just in this one, I don't know what it was with him. Maybe the game was too fast for him, but that blunder was almost costly. If it wasn't for the forward messing that up, we would have been even more angry right now. My honorable mention is going to go. Well, actually, game is off. For game is off, I'm going to have to give it to Gabriel Peck. He hasn't had a good stretch of games lately. And in this match in particular, yeah, he was getting open a lot on that right side. And he was, getting to the end line, but that was it. In the final third, he wasn't able to produce anything. No assist, no goal. Especially the one that Riqui gave him in the second half. You got to put those in the back of the net. You're a DP player who the LA Galaxy spent a lot of money on, and your other DP partner is not there. So you got to take that weight. You got to carry the team somehow. And we haven't been seeing that. So for that one, he gets the game is off. My honorable mention is going to go to Mikovic. First game as a starter, first clean sheet. There's been a lot of tweets of who should be the starter, either Mikovic or McCarthy. And the thing is with that, position battles is only going to make both of them better. Whoever starts, I think I'd feel comfortable with. We've mentioned this last season that we saw him win a couple games and we thought he could have done more than what Bond was doing. Because I think at that point we're already kind of tired of Bond. My next standing player of the match.
Gotta bring up Bond. He's gone.
My next standing player of the match is going to go with the same guys Eddie mentioned. Serio. I thought he had a really solid game today. And seeing that he is that more deep sitting center mid who adds on to the defense, a 0-0, that could have been, because of him too. So because of that, I'm going to give him my next standing player of the match. All right, y'all. Let's get to some questions. Unless you guys got something else before I get to the questions.
I was just going to say one of the things that people like to talk about negatively about J-Mac is his distribution. It's not that good. It's something to keep an eye on, because if there's going to be any kind of issue between him and the coaching staff as far as making a decision about who might be the goalkeeper at the end of the season, it's going to be related to that. So keep an eye on that. It's something to monitor.
All right, on Instagram.
Excuse me.
Salud.
Thank you. How you know we're live?
Gabo. Mr. Julian Herrera. Is Kuntz stove running out of gas? Question mark.
It's simmering.
Edgar.
We'll see. He might have something nice sitting in the fridge, like a nice little Jello mold there, just waiting for us to give it to us in the middle of the summer.
Something's marinating.
Right, a nice little Jello fries.
It's a souffle.
Oh, sorry, this is souffle. Well, you just sneezed, so you ruined it.
Marco Royce is not coming. Damn it.
Staying trucha. The team complicates the attack too much. Is that a true statement, or do you want to go off, Eddie?
I got 2 words. What did he say?
The team complicates the attack too much.
Riqui Puig. Keep going.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. I told the guys in Charlotte. I told them, hey, you guys might talk about how fantastic player he is and how you wish you had a guy like that, but when you sit there and you watch him for 90 minutes, you start tearing your hair out, because you're like, pass the ball, the guy's open, pass the fucking ball. And then by the time he passes the ball, it's like too late. And then you do get that highlight reel shot that happens once every 3 games.
I still think you guys are tripping, but we'll see. Logan Jones, he writes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 sleeping emojis.
Damn.
That is.
He must have fallen asleep.
Yeah, he fell asleep while he was writing. Adam DC 25, winless in 5 since 421. Galaxy needs a striker at the summer window, and Riqui needs more help. What kind of help do you want to give him, Eddie?
How much more help do you need?
Help to pack his bags? Damn, you're a dick.
Yeah. Or
You did it, Brian.
or crash course on how to make an easy pass 101.
Edgar, can you agree with that? We need a striker. Riqui needs help.
I think we need somebody up top who could put Dejan's feet to the coals, man. Somebody who can challenge him, and he'll be like, oh, crap, I'm going to lose my job.
Yeah.
Something that was mentioned in the broadcast is that Dejan was disappointed that he was not called up to the Serbian national team. By the way, one of those games, I know the game against Minnesota, they accidentally say he was from Bosnia. I'm like, oh my God, how dare you?
What a
You guys are
blunder.
idiots. Anyway, but yeah, he didn't get called up to the Serbian team, and that's something that was definitely, it's one of his goals. It's one of the things that he wants to do. That this guy wants to be on that Serbian team if for some reason or other they do make the World Cup, because he'll be playing here in the U.S. And we went from Dejan Jovalic being the captain of the Serbian team at the end of 2022 in that game between Serbia and the U.S. that was played at the Stank. You guys remember that? It was a game where Dejan was playing for Serbia and Jalen Neal was playing for the U.S. And it kind of seemed to cap off what was a fantastic season for Dejan, given the captaincy of the Serbian national team. And ever since then, it's just been like a steady decline. And now, yes, he scored all these goals here this season, but it just goes to show you can score all these goals. But look at the quality of the goals. Look at the quality of his attack. And it wasn't enough for Serbia to come knocking. This is what I keep saying. I mean, yes, he's giving you goals, but those are tap-ins that anybody could tap in, right? Eddie, you could be there and you could tap them in, right?
Yeah, hell yeah, bro.
But being able to do it with being able to create more opportunities and make the best of them. This is something that we haven't seen him do in a while.
We actually have another super chat.
Go for it.
From Adam, once again, thank you. Is striker only position needed in the summer window? How about right back depth for Yamane? He doesn't trust Cuevas yet.
Let me take that one. Left back, I don't know, maybe within the league trade, right? I don't think we're gonna like splash money, but I had a theory that, and I'll give the front office credit if this is like what they're actually doing, right? I put some thought into it. You let Billy Sharp go. You left the max tam open, right? They were like, and they got Miguel Berry, and they moved Preston Jetta. Everyone's mad about that, but I think these were chances they took. Let's see if we can get somebody at a lower price. Preston Jetta wasn't going to light the league on fire. So, like, let's say maybe we move with this experienced player that's going to cost us the same or less or whatever. See how that works out. We don't spend money in the forward. We have Dejan. Let's give Dejan this maybe final opportunity, and let's leave this spot open, and we can, if it doesn't work out, we shop around. I think they are. I hope, and I want to give the front office credit that that's what they were doing, and that's where the main focus is, because we already signed that center back. I think that was another issue, that they're shopping for that striker, that max time striker, whether it's in a trade. I can't think of any names on top of my head right now, but whether it's a trade that they're going to use that max time spot on, or they're going to bring someone in the summer. I think that is the main focus.
I was kind of actually going to go into that about the summer transfer, but go ahead, Edgar.
I was gonna say trades are always a funny thing, right?
Mhm.
Especially in MLS. You wonder who's gonna want to help the LA Galaxy. Who's gonna want to say, "Hey, we'll give you this decent striker if you guys give us Eric Zabaleta." Right?
Yeah, that's true.
I'm joking, but you guys know where I'm going with this.
Yeah. MLS, you can't. I think Josh said it once. He's like, you can't get what you want without losing something you like, or something
Yeah.
along those like terrible paraphrasing, sure, but it's like something along those lines.
By the way, paraphrasing another thing Josh said was that you guys might find it's really surprising, but Chris Mavinga is still on the books, and he's one of the top earners in the team.
Hell yeah.
He's living like Josh said, he's living a dream. He's getting paid, and he's just sitting there on tweets, man, just going off saying, "Yeah, I'm part of the team, baby."
Unhinged, bro.
Shout out to Come of the Galaxy. So before we got into that combo, I did want to mention the summer transfer window. There's a TAM slot open and a U22 slot open, I believe.
Yes.
If striker is the main thing you want to go out and get, and you want to light a fire under Dejan Jovelic's ass, are you going veteran? Or are you going up and coming? Somebody that could take the reins for Jovic, because how the team is constructed, there's a lot of young people in this squad. You got Garces, you have Jalen Neal, who could be your future center back pairings. You have Edwin Cerrillo, who could be your future starting CDM. You have Gabriel Peck, who is your DP as a young DP. And then you have Dejan Jovic, who is also young. And well, of course, Riqui Puig. So do you go young or do you go experience, Eddie?
You try your best that time to get anyone that's in any kind of form. Dejan is a young guy. Why are you gonna double down? Like, that's it. Like, it's back to the bench for you, bro. I don't think Dejan probably doesn't move unless he demands to move. I don't think the Galaxy looks to move him. He goes back to the bench. Barry probably ends up in G2 or wherever, and it's got to be just the best effort to get someone in form. That's where you go. In the young DP, I don't know. You get it somewhere. You use it somewhere else if you use it. A young player.
What you got, Edgar?
Well, Adam, once again with another super chat to our super chat. Thank you so much, Adam. Really appreciate it, man. Any right back players you guys know about? Well, we'll get back to that right away. But as far as forwards and MLS, my goodness, I can't think any of the top of my head. But it wouldn't hurt to look at teams that are suffering right now, teams that are in positions where they did not expect to be. Teams like New England Revolution, Chicago Fire, Nashville, even Atlanta. These are teams that are in pretty big trouble. I know down in Atlanta, Jukamakis, they love him and everything, but I've heard rumblings that he's being linked to teams outside of MLS, including, which I thought was kind of funny, Cruz Azul. I think it was Cruz Azul. But yeah, these are teams that are in situations where they not expect to be. Nashville, right? One of the teams that's always been pushing. Atlanta, former MLS Cup champions. Chicago, which it looked like they finally got things together. They're a mess. it wouldn't hurt to go and do a little window shopping, see what they have to offer. Because they might want an Eric Zabaleta. I keep picking him up. I'm sorry. They might want somebody like it. Edwin Cerrillo. These are guys that are movable, right? They might want maybe some draft picks, maybe a little bit of money. What do you think, Eddie?
So
You
this is
don't
not
move.
movable.
Yeah, he's not.
Yeah,
Nope, he's not.
he's not movable.
I'm just
Brugman
saying, if
over.
you could get something for him,
You move Brugman.
You can do Brugman.
Yeah, I take that chance
mm,
if it's worth it. If it's worth it, I think he's tradable because Rios is young enough to bank on him. I think.
By the way, thank you to everybody who submitted questions. We truly appreciate you guys. All right, boys, we're at the tail end of the show.
Oh, thank God.
Next, I know we made an hour show out of a boring game. This upcoming match, May 25th. The LA Galaxy
Saturday.
on a Saturday. The LA Galaxy take on 8th place Houston Dynamo. Edgar and I would try our best to do a midweek show. Do we have anybody lined up, Edgar?
I'm trying really hard to get our good friend Finn. He covers Houston Dynamo to join us. So expect to hear any confirmation about that in the next couple of days. But if we do, you guys are in for a treat because he's always funny. He's a comedian.
Yeah.
So expect a lot of self-deprecating humor coming from him. So yeah, and from us too.
Yeah, perfect. But I think that does it for us here in News Across the Galaxy. I don't know if you guys have something else before we leave. Any more Riqui bashing?
Nah.
Yeah, ready?
Not this
No,
time around.
I'll just say before we go, it's just kind of important to me. May is a mental health awareness month. You know, everybody, make sure you take care of yourself before anything. Let's get rid of that stigma, especially within Latinos. You know, the whole machismo. It's not okay to have feelings and to feel the type of way. Take care of your mental health. If you have any kind of issues, you know, that or anything that lingering that may be bothering you, make sure you, again, take care of yourself. Reach out to somebody. I know, Edgar. I was, you know, you guys haven't seen me in a while. I was going through a bit of a rough patch, and Edgar will always tell me, you know, there's always people out there that care about you. So make sure to reach out, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, to piggyback off, we were doing a lot of piggybacking today, right? To echo his statement, I just want to say, if anybody ever just wants to chat, to vent, to ask questions that maybe you wouldn't ask anybody else, I'm always available. I'm not some professional, but I am willing to listen to you. And maybe if you want, I can offer my opinion, maybe some advice. But yeah, if anybody needs it, I'm here for you. I love you guys. So yeah.
And let the people know where they can find you.
Oh, yeah, you can find me on Twitter. Screw the X, baby. Twitter, baby. Twitter for life. Yeah, you can find me on Twitter as Edgar Nags, NA_GS, also on Instagram. So looking forward to hearing from you guys.
Do you want people to find you, Eddie?
Yeah, of course. And
Never to be confused with Eddie, damn it.
to retweet what Edgar said, since we can't say piggyback anymore. Yeah, same thing. You know, if you guys ever want need someone to talk to, or just like maybe you're looking for some kind of sort of direction, I'm no pro, but always, you know, my ears are always open, and feel free to reach out. The only way right now that you can reach me is actually on Twitter. Fuck X again. As Eddie Nags. Eddie Nags.
Or DMX.
EDDIENAGS.
Oh, there's one other thing I want to bring up,
Yeah.
by the way. And I just remembered it, and it's not a good thing, but I just want to bring light to it. Let me take a deep breath real quick. It came to my attention that over the weekend that Sarah Neal, our beloved Sarah Neal, her youngest son was the recipient of a racist attack, and it really pisses me off that we're still dealing with this kind of stuff, especially with somebody who is such a wonderful human being like Sarah and her family. We love Jalen Neal and Sarah, and we also extend that love to the rest of her family. So if you guys, I mean, it's one thing to say, damn it, I hate racism, but it's another thing to actually step up in the face of it. If you guys ever see anything like that or hear anything like that at our stadium or anywhere else, it doesn't matter if it's a stadium, if it's out in public, if it's at a store or anybody, if you see anybody doing that kind of stuff, shut them down. We don't need that stuff. And step up for somebody, make somebody's day. Let them know that that they can't, they're not supposed to be able to just sit there and take it. That somebody else is going to stand up for them, with them, and stand there with them. So, yeah, it just pisses me off that this would happen to her and her family. They're wonderful people, and it's just, yeah, that's not right. So
Yeah.
sorry, Brian. I just
No,
wanted
no,
to
you're
say
good.
that before
It's
we got
been
off.
an eventful kind of week for the Neal family. I know something went down in the stadium that was unfortunate, but stay strong. And the Nag boys are with you guys. So just know that. Chewy, where can the people find you? I know I didn't shout you out with the ones and twos earlier, but now you can
Oh,
speak.
Chewy's here? I didn't even know because you didn't tell us.
Chuyazo. Ba, 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 ba.
Huh? Yeah.
Yeah, it is. We can hear you. Everyone can hear you.
There we go. All right,
Oh.
here we go. No, my mic was on the chat, not on this thing. Yeah, you guys can find me as Travis J A, Travis Ha on all my social media. Pretty easy, pretty simple. I'm out there.
And you guys can find me as Bryant Nags on Instagram and X. And that does it for all of us here at News Across the Galaxy. Just punch people in faces for no, I'm just playing. So
Oh my God.
That does it from Edgar, Chewy, Eddie, and myself. We are out of here. And as always, keep on nagging.
We thank for life.
You already
Keep
know,
on
baby.
nagging.
Keep on nagging.
One nagging.